Hey guys, what's going on? It's Farewell34, and today I'll be doing an episode review on The Walking Dead Season 5, Episode 13. Alright guys, so this episode was very high-packed with action and great story, so we're gonna get right into it. The episode starts off with Gabriel welcome into his new church, he being a pastor and such in Alexandria, and he finds a note. On this note, it actually says, "Welcome to Alexandria." It's a little offering to him, just welcoming him to the neighborhood. This is very interesting. It shows that there is some sort of hidden tension in the character, and he's very angry at something, but we don't know what it is until the end of the episode. It then cuts to Noah and Diana's husband trying to have a bonding moment together. They're talking about construction and the longevity of Alexandria. This then leads to Diana's husband giving Noah his book on how to build the walls. Cool. This is very symbolic because it represents the group, in a sense, getting control of Alexandria, with the book representing them and Diana's husband giving power. Noah's interest in the walls really shows to Diana's husband and the rest of the group that they are really interested in being integrated to this group and staying there for a long period of time. Next, we see that the group is all back together again from the last episode. There's no tension essentially between Glenn and the other scavengers. There's actually a really cool scene where they all hop in a van together and they're ready to go on a new adventure looking for solar panels, and Eugene ends up going with them. We see Noah offering Eugene a gun. This isn't good because it's giving Noah too much spotlight, which is not a good thing. So after the van goes away, listening to some cool dubstep music, it then cuts to Rick and Jesse. There's definitely going to be some conflict going forward between Jesse, Rick, and their husband, who we find out is a drunk later on in the episode. So Rick drops by Jesse's house and he notices that her owl is broken. The shit that she makes. This also leads Rick to give a cool little monologue talking about a broken window theory, which is pretty cool. It was like, if the window's broken, then society's broken. We then go back to the surviving group who's going out looking for supplies. We see that Glenn and Aiden actually start agreeing with each other. There's actually a cool scene where Tara and Eugene start bonding with one another. Essentially, Tara tells Eugene that he's kind of useless, and Eugene kind of feels offended, and he tries to defend himself saying, "I brought you guys here, you wouldn't be here without me," which is true. But what is also true is that Eugene's kind of a punk. He even admits it, and Tara's not having that. She says, "You have to pull in your weight here," which he does. We then find the group all huddled together, and they try and find this warehouse where they need to get these supplies. These supplies that they're looking for are solar panels for the community, and Eugene is just the man for the job. This is his perfect opportunity to man up and do something. This scene causes a lot of drama in the episode. We find that Eugene actually gets the solar panels and then leads to conflict when zombies come. The group isn't too startled at this point in the episode, but Aiden starts shooting the zombie, and it's actually it has armor, and he starts constantly shooting it with his assault rifle. As he's shooting the zombie, Glenn notices from afar and he tries to tell him don't shoot it because there's a grenade on him. How do you shoot a zombie with a grenade? That's so unrealistic. But anyway, that happens and it blows up and shit hits the fan from there. The way they kind of showed how the damage was dealt from the grenade was pretty proportionized. Like, Glenn was right behind it and nothing happened to him. So from the blast, everyone's okay except for Tara, who's seriously hurt, and Aiden, who is presumed dead, but we find out is actually just severely hurt. We then cut to Sam and Carol talking to each other again, and he's asking for more cookies. It's kind of funny seeing them interact because she's a total asshole to him. We then cut to Abraham in the group working at the construction site. This is one of my favorite parts of the episode because it pays homage to the comic books. Abraham does actually have this similar scene where he's doing construction with the new Alexandria people, and they don't defend him when zombies come and attack. Just like in this episode, they try to stick to the formation, and they actually all become cowards, and Abraham has to go there and save the girl. This is great because they're sticking to the really good source material. Also, we then see Abraham becoming higher up in the community, with him being the leader of the construction group now. We then go to Rick getting a knock on his door, which is from none other than Pete. And as we know, yes, Pete is Jesse's husband, and the tension between Rick and him are pretty high at this point. Pete just goes to Rick's house to, I think, unintentionally rustle his jimmies. I don't know, but that's what it kind of seems like he's doing. Rick already does not like you. He likes your wife, and if you get Rick on his bad side, he will kill you. Spoiler to anyone who hasn't read the comic series or heard news about it, Rick actually does go and kill him, so that's gonna happen. Sorry. I believe that they're building towards that. That's gonna either happen in the next episode or the finale. We then cut to the warehouse where the grenade went off and it actually blew up. We then cut to Eugene's character, who's looking over Tara's body saying, you know, you should have listened, you should have listened. There's a lot of character development of Eugene in this episode. There's a lot of development for Eugene's character. We go from the beginning of the episode, not wanting to hold a gun, to actually being heroic and saving Tara at this part in the episode. As Eugene's doing this, Glenn, Noah, and the rest of the group are trying to save Aiden. We then go to Glenn, Noah, Nicholas trying to save Aiden. They're trying to pull him out of these like poles, and he's like really like stuck in there with one at the top and one at the bottom. We then go to Glenn, Noah, and Nicholas trying to take Aiden out from the poles. He's stuck there, and Nicholas whispers something to Aiden. He basically tells him that we're the reason why our people died on the last run. Nicholas runs away, and Glenn gets really mad at this, but he still stays there and tries to help Aiden. Even though he almost beat him up, Aiden then realizes that he is screwed, and he says, I'm the reason why they died, leave me here, and that's what they do. We then go where Aiden's getting ripped to pieces by the zombies. It's a pretty gruesome scene. This then leads to Glenn and others running, chasing after Nicholas, which leads them to be stuck in between a revolving door with zombies on both sides. None other than Eugene comes and saves the day, driving that cool-ass van, playing that cool-ass music. Like I said, this episode really had a lot of development in Eugene's character, and I thought this was probably the highlight of that. You know, he's not that kind of a person to save the day, but he did. We then go where Diana, Maggie, and the old head of construction are all talking to one another and saying how, you know, Abraham really saved the day and he should be head now. This is a really significant point in the episode because we see that Diana is starting to realize she's losing power of her group. Diana even says in the episode that she's giving another position of power to one of the strangers she had just met. If they wanted to take over, they could do so easily. This then leads to Carol and Sam talking to one another again. She acts cold-hearted just as she was earlier. This is a really funny scene, you know, Carol's trying to be cold-hearted and not, you know, doesn't want to talk to the kid, and he's kind of persisting to talk to her, which is pretty interesting. The kid's kind of funny. He says to Carol, you know, we don't have to be friends, just don't be quiet. Which is kind of true. It's from this conversation that Carol derives that Pete is an abusive drunk husband who hurts his wife and son. Rick ain't having none of that. He's about to go up there and give him a good old punch in the face. Rick being the constable, he's gonna do something about it. Plus, he has some affection for Jesse, so we best know that Pete's gonna die. We then get back to Glenn and the others who are stuck in that revolving door, where it's Glenn and Noah in one side, and the other side, it's Nicholas. Here is where the biggest part of the episode happens. Noah dies! I told you! He had too much talking in the beginning of the episode, foreshadowing his inevitable death. It's The Walking Dead. That was probably one of the most gruesome scenes I've ever seen on The Walking Dead. He was getting his face like ripped out and everything. It was nasty. From Noah's death, Nicholas runs away to catch up to Eugene and try to escape, and Glenn is really traumatized. Eugene's waiting outside with a van, and Nicholas comes out and basically tells him, you can either come with me back to the neighborhood, or you can die. Eugene actually mans up in this episode. He's about to take out his gun and shoot Nicholas, but he throws him down on the floor. Right before Nicholas has a chance to escape, guess who comes and punches his fuckboy in the face? It's my boy Glenn. He's pissed off. You gon' die. I'm really surprised Glenn didn't kill him. He just punched him in the face until he passed out, which was pretty weird. I would have made sure that guy was dead. This then leads to them driving back to the safe zone with Tara passed out on the car still bleeding out, with Nicholas in the back, and they're all driving back to Alexandria. This episode ends with Gabriel basically going up to Diana and telling her everything about Rick and the group and how they're dangerous people and how they're not to be trusted. This is something that is also from the comic books and is very interesting because it leads to further development in the characters of Alexandria and conflict between the characters as well. It then cuts back to the van where it shows a shot of the notepad that Noah had just got in the beginning of the episode, and it says in the beginning and it ends. This is super sad, but I can't say that I didn't foreshadow it in the episode from the beginning, but what's actually really interesting is Gabriel is telling Diane about all the stuff that Rick's group has done. Maggie's actually in the background coming up the stairs, so she is hearing everything he's saying. There's a quick scene of Abraham instructing the group because he's now the leader of the construction team, which is pretty cool to see. So then the episode leaves off with Carol telling Rick that he needs to kill Pete. Overall, I really enjoyed this episode. At first, I thought it might have been a little slow, but it definitely picked up with the character development, especially in Eugene and the rest of the group in the conflict. I thought the death scene with Noah was handled really well with the execution of it, and I thought story-wise it fit in well. This episode was really key to pushing the story forward. The finale is only 2 episodes away, and there's still a lot of content that they need to push into these 2, and I think this served to do it. I'm gonna go ahead and give this episode an 8 out of 10. So thank you guys very much for watching this episode review of The Walking Dead Season 5 Episode 13. I hope you enjoyed it and found it informative. If you guys want to see my theory videos or what I think is going to happen, feel free to comment if you would like to see those, and I'll most certainly do those. Feel free, please leave a comment in the comment section below saying what you think is going to happen in the next episode or the finale. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you liked it. Feel free to subscribe, comment, rate, whatever you do nowadays. I don't know, but just thank you for checking it out.